badass. Aquaman, last trailer I'm doing today. Yes, I did see the Shazam trailer. I may do a video on that. I may do it like, I don't know, as a bonus Sunday or Monday video or something. I need to stop for today. But yes, Aquaman trailer hit. And I've been curious to see this one because while I did enjoy Justice League, and I certainly liked it better than BVS, it was not a complete course correction. So right now, Wonder Woman still stands out a bit as the anomaly within the DCEU in terms of its overall quality. And again, that's not to say that there's no quality in anything else, but I don't think anything else has hit that level. And so Warner Brothers kind of needs Aquaman to be of a caliber. And I'm not sure that it will be, but this doesn't convince me that it won't be. So that's something. I was surprised how much I enjoyed Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I didn't think I would because the early trailers for Justice League really put a lot of emphasis on kind of what I think a lot of people dubbed Aqua Bro. You know, just the yeah thing. So, and there's still a bit of that here, but it didn't sink him as a character in that film, and I'm not expecting it to do so here. And I like that the film is leaning in a certain degree to the silliness. Not in that it is treating the character like he's silly, but the silly aspects of the character it's not shying away from, nor is it trying to explain and justify. And if you've been following the film at all, we knew this was going to be the case. James Wan had confirmed this shortly after Justice League came out. So in Justice League, in the one scene that kind of happens down underwater with Aquaman, they create an air bubble that he and Mera show up in order to speak to each other, because normally sound wouldn't carry the same way underwater. And it was asked of James Wan, are you going to be doing that throughout the whole Aquaman film? And he kind of shrugged and went, well, no, they're just going to talk underwater, which is the right attitude. Like, that's part of the nature of this character. That and talking to fish are part of his deal. So if you can't roll with that, if you need a realistic explanation as to the fact that he can just talk underwater and can communicate with fish, go watch something else. Because Aquaman is not for you. Yet at the same time, while not abandoning the admittedly sillier, more comic book elements, it also isn't like going, it isn't like turning them into the joke that it would be very easy to do, like in an attempt to seem too cool for its own history, which I think would be very easy for this to lean into. It just seems to be embracing what Aquaman is, the fun, because Aquaman is an adventure character. Because different heroes are, we say the superhero genre, but different heroes are fundamentally different things, or have been, at least for the majority of their run. Some have changed over time. But, Batman is fundamentally a detective vigilante character. And he is usually best used to tell those kinds of stories. Iron Man, when he was first introduced, basically prior to the movie, was basically an espionage character. He was constantly going up against the Soviets when the Cold War was still going on. That was the kind of story you told with that character. And Aquaman is an adventure character. And by adventure, I mean that kind of rollicking fun. We come in, we save the day, we have a good time, we kind of wink at the camera. It's all good. That is Aquaman. That's his history. That's his roots. And that's, again, I'm not saying the writing never deviated from that, but that's who he is fundamentally as a character. And I feel like this is embracing that while giving it just a little bit enough sort of gravity to the character and the situation that I think is warranted by a movie. Because if you are going to do a movie, especially a superhero movie, in some ways you kind of have to go, I don't want to say like big, like apocalyptic, but like you need stakes. You need serious stakes, and they either need to be super personal, meaning we're really invested in the characters, or just big scale, which this seems to be going for more, and that's fine. The performances seem solid. Nothing really stood out to me as good, but nothing stood out to me as bad either. And that, for a DC film, that's a good thing. That's no small thing. The effects are pretty solid. I like a lot of the design work. I like some of the looks of the underwater creatures we see. I love the shot of him diving into the water with the flares leading, I think it's the trench, away from that boat, and they're all following that huge wide shot. Oh, that was gorgeous. I love that. And it was funny. I had this thought, and I don't think it actually pans out this way, but I did have the thought when he was, like, had the bits of him challenging Orm for the throne. I'm like, are we watching Black Panther from Killmonger's perspective? And I don't think that's actually the case. It's absolutely not intentionally the case, because they were in production at around the same time. And I don't think even functionally that'll end up being the case. But I had that thought, and I found myself wanting to share it. Regardless, I think if I was going to make any complaints, and this is nitpicky, the jumping out of an airplane without a parachute thing, that's kind of become a tired bit. And I don't think I'd even object to it being in the movie, especially because I do kind of like the, redheads line. But at the same time, it is a little bit... It's been used a lot, especially in trailers. So I don't mind that that's probably going to be in the movie. I am a little bit like, did we need that in the trailer? Because that's not like a moment that feels unique and you're like, oh, that's tough. It's like, yeah, I saw that. I saw that in Iron Man, and I saw that in, I guess it was Avengers that Captain America did it. Or no, it was Winter Soldier. But in any case, that's starting to feel, it's not quite Blue Beam in the sky, but it is starting to feel like a bit of a superhero staple in a way that maybe don't put that in your trailer. But other than that, like, I have no anticipation this is going to be some sort of great monumental film, but I have nothing of substance to complain about in this. And that's a good start. That's solid as far as I'm concerned. And a trailer for an Aquaman film, which was a film that, prior to the release of Justice League, I had only morbid curiosity in. This is solid. And much like the Godzilla trailer, it makes me more... It's a film I was probably going to see regardless, but it makes me more interested in seeing it. It makes me... a little bit excited to see what it's going to be like. And I was curious before, now I'm actually interested. So that's an uptick in my interest level. That's a positive for the trailer. I call that a win. Aquaman trailer, your thoughts on it, whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. There's all the stuff to do. I won't list it, but I will mention the Patreon because that's kind of the big one for me, but links for that and a bunch of other stuff. It's all down in the description. So until next time, this council is adjourned.